Hi, my name's Larissa. I am a yoga teacher and movement coach here on behalf of Breathe Yoga and Pilates. We are pleased to be taking part in this year's 1BurkeGives, and I hope that you enjoy class today. This class is a fusion of yoga and functional movement. So let's move. Come onto your back, facing the front of your mat. While you're lying here, begin to notice what feels in contact with the floor. So go ahead and take the feet about hip distance apart and further away from your bum than you may think. Place your hands on your thighs, and if the arms are straight, I'd say that's a good distance for your feet. If you feel like your elbows are bending, go ahead and take your heels a little further away from the hips. And then notice the feeling of the sacrum, the broad bony section at the bottom of your spine in contact with the floor, your scapula or your shoulder blades as you're breathing in and out through the nose here, nice even breaths. And notice the feeling of the back of the skull in contact with the floor. Your sacrum, your scapula, and your skull. Continue to breathe in and out through the nose, and maybe take the hands to the top of the hip creases where the thigh bone comes to meet the hip. Unweight the left heel and bring your knee over your hip. Did you notice anything change in the trunk? Did your ribs want to flare up? Did your back want to arch? Hold there and put your mind into the right foot and the right glutes. Squeeze the glutes and lift up just a few inches. So you're coming into a one-leg bridge here. Right off, right away, we're going to heat up the lower half of our core, working into the gluteus maximus and the surrounding muscles of the pelvis and hip in order to encourage a neutral pelvis so that we can move more freely through the lower body. Okay, scratch that. I don't like that. That's hard. Boop. Let's start over. Let's start at 4:15. Got to end at 4:45, right? Okay. Hi, my name is Larissa. I'm a yoga teacher and movement coach, and I'm here. I hate talking to the camera when there aren't people. Hi, my name is Larissa. I'm a yoga teacher and movement coach here on behalf of Breathe Yoga and Pilates. We are pleased to be taking part in this year's event with 1BurkeGives. I hope you enjoy this class. This is a fusion of yoga and functional movement, so let's get moving. Come onto your back facing the front of your mat, rolling onto your back. Feet are flat and knees are hip distance apart. Hands may be coming to the thighs. Breathing in and out through the nose. Steady, even breaths here. Begin to notice what is in contact with the floor. Your feet, maybe spread the toes. Continue to breathe in and out through the nose. Sacrum, the large bony section at the bottom of the spine, about where your back pockets are, and moving up from there, the scapula or the shoulder blades, we like to call them, and then the back of the skull. See how it feels to line up these structures, maintaining a natural curve in the low back and a natural curve in the C-spine or your neck. Place your mind into your feet again. Pick the toes up, spread the toes, and roll them down to the floor one at a time. Grounding through the feet, mind moving up to the glutes, the base, bottom half of the core. Squeeze the glutes to lift the hips. Stay very low, coming into a low bridge here. So I'd like you to maintain some length in the low spine. Maybe the hands come to the front hip points. or the front pelvic points. Breathing in and out through the nose. Resisting a forward lift in the rib cage or pushing up high, staying long and low, continuing to turn on the glutes, and then walk the toes and heels a little closer together so that you can unweight the left leg, bring the knee over the hip. So now you're coming into a low bridge, one leg bridge, taking more demand into the right side, the right glutes, the right side of the hips. We're going to warm up quick here. Bring both hands overhead, flip your fingers back, and gently pull back on the finger break of the right hand. So the left knee is up, right glutes are on, right hand, we're stretching the wrist. Stretching across the palm, over the wrist, down into the forearm. We'll be weight bearing a little on our hands today as well. We want to warm up these wrists. So already feeling a little bit of work in my right glute here, but giving me little small pulses. It's a tiny movement, not something everyone can see necessarily. And pause, bring the hands back down to the front of the belly, lower the left leg, check back in, both glutes are on, unweight the right foot, hinge at the hip here where the thigh comes up to the hip joint and bring the knee over your hip, staying long in the low back, squeezing this left glute so that we're not tipping down to the side, but holding ourselves up. Hands come above again, change sides. The left fingers stretch back, gentle stretch on the wrist here, into the forearm, and then pulse, small little pulses. So you're grounding through the foot, engaging the glutes a little bit more as you lift, an inch or two at a time, and hold. Bringing the right foot down, re-engage both glutes so that you feel even here. Hands come to the ribs, continuing to breathe in and out through the nose. Moving the hands down toward the front pelvic points, those bony points on the front of your pelvis, and the fingers lay across the belly. Take a nice deep breath in, allow the ribs to expand. Imagine they're 360 degrees as you inhale, and then as you exhale, feel that gentle tension in the low belly. Glutes are on, low belly is firm. We'll come back to this feeling throughout class. Lower slowly, one vertebra at a time, until the sacrum again reaches the floor. Leave your feet where they are, knees are hip distance apart. Bring the hands behind the head and lace your fingers. So the hands are at the back of the skull, the elbows come in. These are going to be small movements, but we want to continue heating up in the deep core so that we can start moving and stretching from here. Deep breath in. Exhale, rise up, come off both shoulder blades, and take a peek down at the belly where you had your hands before. So I'm not curling forward, I'm lifted. That nice gentle hug in the belly, hold it there, allowing the head to relax back in the laced fingers, not pulling on the neck, and then inhale, lower. Exhale, lift up, hold, little sips of air as needed, otherwise a gentle breath hold. Inhale and lower. Adding on. Exhale, lift, coming off both shoulder blades. Extend the left leg. So the knees stay in line, the left leg straightens, and the toes pull back, adding a little calf hamstring stretch here. Hold. Hold the scapula off the floor, lower the foot. Inhale, lower the head. Exhale, lift. Again, not pulling on the head, gently resting the head back in the hands. The right leg extends, pull the toes back, add that little stretch. What happens to your shoulders want to drop in that moment? I know it's not easy, but you can do it. Right foot comes down, inhale and lower. A few more, adding on, exhale, lift. Left leg extends, toes come back. Give me a 2-inch tiny twist to the left. So we're not rolling over onto the shoulder blade, both shoulder blades staying off the mat. Hold it there. Turn back to the center, lower the left foot, lower and inhale. Exhale, lift. Right leg extends. Tiny twist to the right. So staying off the right shoulder blade, tiny twist, still not pulling on the neck. Relax the head back and the hands, come back to the center, lower the right foot, inhale, lower. One more each side, exhale, lift. Left leg extends, small twist to the left, and then with your right hand, reach across your body, pull the ribs in to help you lift higher. Hold it. Hand comes behind your head, center up, lower the foot, inhale, and lift. You have one more. Exhale, lift up. Extend the right leg, pull the toes back, small twist to the right. Left arm reaches across, pull in at the ribs, lift a little higher, hold. Come back to center, hands behind the head, right foot lowers, inhale and release. Nice. Bring the knees into the chest and come all the way up to seated and around to your hands and knees. Knees are underneath the hips, but actually bring them a little closer than you might think. Hands are under the shoulders. Pressing the hands into the floor, energetically dial the hand out. So it's not going to move, but you are going to feel an action take hold here around the scapula, I hope. You're pressing into the knuckle of the index finger, where the finger meets the palm, and then press into the floor further and allow the scapula to spread. You can hang your head here, similar to cat in yoga when we do cat and cow. But as you come through, instead of looking up, I want you to bring the throat back in space, keep a long line in the neck, and allow the chest to soften between your straight arms. Draw the belly in, that firmness in the belly is still there. And then press up again, release the head, cat. And today's version of cow without extending the neck. Lower the chest between the arms. Press back to neutral, keep dialing out those hands, draw the belly in, slide the left foot back, squeeze the left glute, maybe the foot comes up. Does everything else stay steady? Lower the left foot, slide it back in, knee underneath you. Right foot slides back, squeeze the right glute, lift the right leg. So the glute lifts, extends the hip, and you see the effect of that with the leg lifting. Lower the right foot, slide the knee in, and lower the forearms. Bring both forearms down to the mat, clasp your fingers here, and bring the elbows together a little closer than you think. So draw the belly in, slide the left foot back, slide the right foot back, and see how it feels to find that in-between action of the scapula. So not the cat, and not dropping like in cow, but right in between. Scapula lying on the back, suction cupped to the ribs. Draw the throat back in space, firm the belly, warming up through the top part of our core canister, our shoulder girdle, scapula. So through this stability and strength, we can begin to move in just a moment. One more breath. Bring the knees back underneath you. And bring yourself up to the front of your mat, standing in Tadasana. Feet together. Give me that same energetic spin of the feet out so that you're pressing into the big toe mound. Sacrum, scapula, and skull lined up. Maybe you soften your knees a little bit to find that tall posture. Hands by your side. Inhale, reach forward and up. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Hands come to the floor underneath you. Slide the right foot back, lower the knee and the top of the foot. Squeeze the right glute as you inhale, come up without poking the ribs forward. Hands come to the floor, step back into plank. Exhale, lower the knees. Lower all the way down. Keep the tops of your shoulders lifted as you come to the floor. Drag your hands back for baby cobra. Exhale, lift the belly. Lift the pelvis up into downward facing dog. Bend the knees as much as you would like here and lift the armpits away from the floor so that we're not sinking. So remember, I'm wanting to work that strength and stability into the shoulder girdle. Slide the right foot forward without picking up the hands as far as you can. Lower the left knee, top of the foot, adjust the right foot as needed. Squeeze that left glute, inhale, come up. Reach in front of you, bring the back foot in, exhale, fold. Let's do that again. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, hands come underneath you. This time the left foot slides back. Lower the knee, keep the toes tucked under. As you reach forward and up, squeeze the left glute. See what changes in the front of the hip here. Encouraging a stretch and release. Hands come to the floor, step back into plank, suction cup the scapula to the ribs, draw the throat back in space, lower the knees, exhale, lower all the way down, top of the shoulders lifted. Drag the hands back, inhale, cobra. Exhale, lift the belly, lift the pelvis, come into downward facing dog. So the pelvis is lifted here, the armpits are lifted, belly is lifted. Slide the left foot forward, lower the right knee, and keep the toes curled under. Reach forward and up. Squeeze the right glute. See what you can get to let go here in the front. Hands come in front, bring the back foot in, exhale and fold. Inhale, come up, and we will start with a sequence here, very similar to what we've already done. Exhale, hinge. Bring the hands to the floor, bring your fingertips down, take the right knee back and down. So your knee is underneath you, and the hand comes to the floor. Now you can be on your hand here, or your fist, or your fingertips. I want you to find that energetic dial out. Feel your scapula on your back here and lean into the scapula. Let your scapula hold you up here so we're not dumping down into the wrist. Exhale, give me a little twist. Maybe a reach with the left arm. Feel free to stay here in this low lunge twist or bring the knee a little closer and walk the left foot to the side of the mat, coming into modified side plank. So if this right hip underneath you is asking you to move your toe and kickstand, please do that. Keep pulling the scapula down the back. Modified side plank here. Both hands land, step back into plank. Walk your hands back this time. As your heels come down, the hips go back and you're sitting back. Pull the chest and belly away from the thighs. Find a long line in the torso here. Hips are going back. In flexion, knees are flexed, ankles are flexed. And then as you stand up, take weight into the right foot. Feel free to keep this knee soft. Use your glute muscles as you lift your left knee up. So balancing is going to be hard to look. Listen closely. We're walking toward the front of the mat. Step forward. Take the weight into the left foot. Bring your right knee up. It doesn't have to come up high. Step forward. Load the right foot and bring the left knee up. Balancing on one foot here. Maybe the right hand comes to the top of the left thigh and you give yourself a little bit of resistance, lifting up with the leg, pressing down with the foot. Both feet together. Exhale. We'll do the other side. Inhale, reach forward and up. Exhale, hinge. Bring your hands to the floor. This time the left foot goes back, left knee down. Staying on the fingertips, fist or plant this left hand. Dial the hand out, turn on the scapula, lean into the upper back here. Reach with the right arm. Allow your head to hang or look down. Breathe. This twisted low lunge. Stay here if you choose, or slide the bottom knee a little bit underneath you. So nothing changes in the shoulder, it's holding you up as we take the right foot back, slowly finding modified side plank. So the knee that's down, that glute is squeezing. I'm trying not to sit back into it. If I feel like I have to sit, I want to kickstand my foot to help me stay more upright. Both hands plant, plank. Find that strong plank, nice long line, posterior line, sacrum, scapula, and skull. Walk your hands back toward your feet. Lift the belly and the chest away from the thighs. Take weight into the left foot as you stand up. The right knee lifts. And remember, listen closely. Step forward, load the right foot, bring the left knee up. Step forward again, load the left foot, bring the right knee up. Hold this position. Maybe one hand to the top of the thigh, pushing down a little bit for resistance as you pull up with the thigh. Both feet come together and exhale. Very nice. Let's do one sun salutation. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, hinge. Hands come to the floor. Step back into plank. Lower the knees. Exhale, lower all the way down. Top of the shoulders stay lifted. Drag the hands back. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, lift into downward facing dog. Lift the armpits, lift the pelvis up. Knees can be bent as much as needed up on the toes. Trying to encourage a long line in the back here. Walk the feet forward without lifting the hands. Keep the hands engaged with the floor, and the feet stop whenever you feel like you have to lift your hands up. Then we come up, step to the front of the mat, and let's do another sequence. Inhale, reach forward and up. This time, as you exhale, slide the right foot back. The feet are on two separate lines, and we're coming into a high crescent lunge here. So I actually want you to bend this back knee so that you can stay soft in the knee and squeeze the right glute, just like we did in our low lunge earlier, trying to encourage that release in the front of the hip. Then bring the hands to the front hip points, tip forward into tilted crescent, pull the belly away from the thigh, bring the right hand over to the left thigh. Continue tipping forward, and if you'd like, float the back leg as little or as much to come into a bent knee airplane. So I'm interested in keeping this bottom leg bent here so that we're continuing to work the glute and hip. And then as the back leg comes down, I'm going to stand up facing the side and paralleling my feet. So take your hands to the top of your thighs here. Pick your toes up and turn them out, feeling the rotation at the top of the thigh as you sit. And then we don't have to change anything else. This is your goddess pose. Hopefully it feels long in the low back. Arms can come up into goddess. And then steadying everything through the core. Little twist, side to side. 2 more times. 1 more. Turn to the front of the mat. Hands plant, the back leg comes up. So similar to that bent knee airplane, only this time the hands are on the floor. Give me that little dial out with the hands. Engage the scapula. And I'm looking right in between my hands, not too far forward. Really working this left glute. Squeeze the right glute to keep level in the pelvis, and then bring both feet down. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hinge. Slide the left foot back, coming into tilted crescent. Feet are on 2 separate lines. Arms can come up, same thing here. The back knee is bent a little bit, squeezing the glute to encourage some release and stretch in the front side of the hip, but also to get a little bit of glute work that we don't otherwise get when we're sitting a lot, driving a lot. Hands come to the front, pelvic points. Tip your crescent, tilted crescent here. Keep that back hip strong. Feel that you're taking more weight into the right leg. Continue to lean. Long line in the back, long neck. Maybe it tips into a bent knee airplane. And one hand can come to the thigh to help buttress, which is a very supportive position. Back leg lower. So I'm facing away from you this time. Parallel your feet. And again, come to the top of the thighs. Pick the toes up. Turn them out as you sit. So the turn is actually coming from the hip. What you see is the angle of the knee and the toe, but I want you to be thinking about the hip here. So maybe practice that again. Hands right here at the top of the thighs. Lift the toes. Turn from the thigh and the hip socket and sit. And then without forcing any more turnout, long back. This time maybe the arms stretch out to the sides, palms up, and then palms down. One more time. Turn to the front of the mat. Right foot is forward. Plant your hands, lift the back leg, drag the hands back to turn on the scapula stabilizers, top half of the core. Hold another breath. Both feet come together. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms come up. So let's put that together, adding on. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Hands come under the shoulders and the right foot comes back, knee down. Come into your low lunge here. So it's a 90-90 position. The knee is just under the hip. And this time stay up on the fingertips. So rotate the bottom leg internally. It's going to make your foot go out. Plant the right hand. Lean into the right scapula and reach up and over the ribs. Find this really nice stretch down the side body. You may feel something different in the hip here. So no forcing. Leave this right arm planted and begin to walk the foot out again. So this changes. We're coming into gate pose. Bottom leg glute is squeezing, but we're going to stay down in this grounded gate pose. Hold. You can press that straight leg foot into the floor. Both hands come to the floor. Find plank. Lower the knees. Exhale, lower all the way down. Belly comes into up from the floor. Hands reach back. Long line in the neck. Think length here in your locust. Breathe. One more breath. Hands come to the floor underneath you. Exhale, lift into downward facing dog. Continue to lift the pelvis up. And once you're there, walk the hands back. Leave your fingertips on the floor and find some oppositional movement here. So the hips are going back, staying high in this squat without dropping the hips. Pull the fingertips along the mat. As you stand up, taking more weight into the right foot, lift the left knee up. So we're taking smaller steps this time. Step forward, lift the right knee. Last one, step forward, lift the left knee. And as the left foot comes down, lean, load this left glute, find that airplane. The back foot can be low or high. One breath. Warrior two, back foot comes down, arms reach. Inhale. Exhale, reach back, reverse warrior. Stay lifted in the right side here. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, extended side angle, Parsvottanasana. Variation on your warrior here. You can lift into the right side body, right ribs. And then as you stand up, windmill to the back of the mat. So now you're facing the back of your mat. Hands come down, left knee comes down, and you're back where we started. So fingertips down, check in with your position here. Left knee is under the hip. You're in a 90-90 lunge. Plant the left hand, lean into the left scapula. And rotate this left thigh internally. So the foot's going to go out and you're going to turn. It's a very small turn. Right arm can reach up, over the ear. Relax the neck. See, feel what you feel. No rules about what it looks like, but you may find a nice side body stretch here, as well as the hip and internal rotation. Keep loaded in this left scapula, excuse me. Begin to walk your right foot over toward the back of the mat, slowly coming into a grounded gate pose. Press that straight leg into the mat. Squeeze this glute. Both hands plant. plank. Exhale, lower the knees. Lower all the way down. Locust. Belly lifts, arms coming behind you. Lifting the chest, keeping the belly lifted, neck long. Hands plant. Exhale, lift into downward facing dog. Pelvis lifts, hands walk back. So once your heels are down, drag the hands back. Maybe relax the head this time. Pull the belly away from the thighs. Take more weight into the left foot as you come to stand, bringing the right knee up. Smaller steps this time. Step forward, lift the left knee. Step forward, lift the right knee. Then step, load this right glute, lean and lift, find your airplane. Lower the back foot, warrior two with control. Inhale. Exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, extended side angle. Forearms lightly on the thigh. As you come up, allow this windmill to happen. Face the front of the mat. Take both hands down to the mat. Both knees come down underneath you into quadruped. And we'll exhale, cat-cow. Spread the shoulder blades, push the floor away. Inhale. Allow the chest to drop, but keep long in the neck. Pull the belly up. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Find your way to seated. Roll onto your back, and we will end class in the same way that we began. Or similar anyway. So, finding a hip stretch here in a supine figure 4, but with active mobility, so no hands. Hands come to the front pelvic points or to the ribs. Hinge and bring the left knee over the hip. Rotate the thigh, which will send the knee out, and the foot right to bring the foot over top. So we're not going to use our hands, let's just test this out. Hands come to the pelvis. Hinge and bring the right knee over. Spread the toes. Maybe the arms open into a nice chest opener here with goddess. And then pull the knee in as you continue to spread the toes. And you are simultaneously working the strength of the iliopsoas on one side as you influence some relaxation in the external rotators on the opposite side, all of which cross the pelvis and are part of this bottom section of your core. With control, reverse this movement, lowering the right foot to the floor, trying not to allow the ribs to pop up in front, so you have to contain that hug on the belly, unwind, and change sides. Firm the belly, externally rotate, so the right foot can tap the left knee, lift the left knee up over the hips, spread the toes, find an open chest position, and pull the knee in toward the center of your body. There's another way to approach this outer hip stretch on one side. Another breath. And with control, slowly lower the left foot, bring the right foot to the floor, walk your feet apart, and allow the knees to fall together, coming into a broken bridge. Feel free to stay here, close your eyes, or continue to walk the feet away from you, stretching long, coming into a restful position, or Shavasana. We'll stay for a few breaths before we finish. as you bring your awareness back to your breathing, inhale that 360-degree breath. Let it go. Begin to wiggle. Rotate, bend, maybe stretch long. And then in your own way, bring the knees back into the chest. Roll up to seated or roll over to one side, keeping the eyes closed for just a moment more. Find a comfortable seat. Finding your sits bones in contact with the floor. And we'll finish practice with 3 breaths together today. Deep inhale in. Let it go at once. Maybe sigh it out, maybe flutter the lips. Again, inhale that 360-degree breath. Let it go. Last time, inhale. And release. I hope you find yourself standing a bit taller, maybe a little lighter, less restricted. Thank you for allowing me to share. Thank you for being here for 1Burke Gives. Have a wonderful day.